Alright YouTube, Kaz Elkin back once again with another week in the Beginner to Pro series. That's a series where I'm aiming to go from being an absolute beginner at coding to hopefully being a pro and landing a job at some point in the not too distant future. This is week 3 of the Beginner to Pro series, so still a beginner, still very much so a beginner, but we're developing, we're learning new things, and I'm going to be sharing those new things with you in this video. This video is going to follow the same format of weeks 1 and 2, so I'm going to show you more time entries. You can see how much time I've spent coding this week, how much time I've spent behind my desk, actually doing exercises and following the Python mega course, which if you followed week 1 and 2 in the resource selection video, you'll know has kind of been my main guide and roadmap to learn how to code. We have managed to make a few cool things this week, one being this kind of web map where you can see sort of like volcanoes across the US, and they come up as kind of like icons on the map, and you can see population of countries around the world, and I'll be sharing that with you in this video later on. So, wasting no time, here are my time entries for the week. As you can see, I started off my week doing exercises. I've mentioned in previous videos that I'm a huge fan of exercises. I think they're a great way to learn, a big fan of problem sets. So I just decided to do a day of them. And I found another website, in addition to the one that I showed you last week in week 2's videos, but this is w3resource.com, Python exercises, and this has hundreds and hundreds of exercises, just an enormous list. And this is what you need, really. There's no one website that is the best for exercises or anything like that, but you just need, well, I think that it's useful to have just a large bank of exercises that you can turn to just, you know, get yourself warmed up get yourself warmed up in the morning, get yourself into the mood. And that's what I've been using this for. So I did exercises all day Tuesday and then Wednesday morning, and then on Wednesday I turned to Folium tutorials. So Folium is what the Python mega course here, as I explained in my other videos, in my resource selection video. If you don't know, Python mega course is the kind of like main guide and roadmap that I've been using to learn how to code. And section 17 of this course has you build a volcano and population web map. And the tools that you use to do that are all in Folium, basically. So I've been using Folium to make this web map, so I decided to get a head start on it, basically, and try and learn the ins and outs of it. So that's what I was doing on Wednesday, and to do that I watched a combination of YouTube videos and Skillshare videos. Moving on to Thursday, some more online lectures on Folium, and then I started working on the volcano population web map, which, as I mentioned, is section 17, so it's the second of the 10 applications that the Python mega course has you build. So I've finished number 2. I'll be showing you that later on in the video. Moving on to Friday, more beginner exercises, and then working with Folium / messing around creating web maps. And on Monday, again, kicked off the day with exercises, and then the Python mega course section 17, I finished the web map. So decent week overall. You know, it's not like I'm spending 10 hours a day working on this or anything like that, but I'm still managing to make good progress, even though I'm only spending, you know, maybe between 4 and 5 hours a day. As you can see also, I'm getting close to being halfway through the Python mega course. And that's it for my time entries, guys. A pretty consistent week overall, I think. Although I only spent, you know, between 4 or 5 hours a day working, they were productive, those 4 or 5 hours, and I am obviously making progress with the Python mega course, and I think I'm getting better. To demonstrate that, I'm jumping into the code that I've written for the week. So as you can see, I've just started numbering a lot of the exercises that I've done now, just because I can't really think of names for them. But some of them are, you know, pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to bother taking you through everything. I don't think there's any need. You know, just to show you a couple examples of the kinds of exercises you can expect. I've got this this sphere volume program, so you know, you just type sphere.py, and then it asks you for the radius of a sphere. So if you say, you know, the radius of 6, it will spit out the volume based on the radius. So yeah, that's just like a classic example of the kinds of exercises that you can find on the website that I showed you. Again, you know, we got this this radius This little radius generator here, so it just asks you, would you like to find the area of a circle using its radius? I just say yes, and then I'll say that's 6, and then it will tell you the area of the circle based on that. Other things include, you know, this little calendar generator. So we pick a year, we pick 2020, and then pick a month, we'll pick August. And then it will generate the calendar for August 2020. So nothing flash. As you can see, I still haven't gotten to the part of the Python Mega course where I do user interface. So everything that I write here, all these little exercises that I do, they're all in the command terminal. So you know, we have to basically type it in the terminal instead of having like a nice graphical interface. I think the graphical interface comes like towards application 4 in the Python Mega course, so looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to starting to make things that might work, you know, outside of the terminal, like you see here. But while we're still in the terminal, I'll show you the volcano and population web map. So this is application 2 of the Python Mega course. This is the main thing that I've worked on this week, and this is it here. So, you know, a bit more code than some of these like you know, little exercises that are just whatever and only take like 5-10 minutes. This is my volcano and population web map. So if I type this in, this actually generates a HTML map file, and then if I go to the map file and boot it up, as you can see here, we've got a map of the world. And if we go to the US, we have volcanoes plotted all over the US. So I've got this little tab in the top right hand side that lets me turn off the layers of the map that I've turned on. So we just turn the population part off for a second, but as you can see, these are all the volcanoes in the US plotted on the map, and they are color coded depending on their elevation. So if they're red, I don't know, they're particularly tall. I think they're like over 2,000 meters if they're red, and then like between 1,500 or whatever if they're orange. And then if they're less than that, they're green. And yeah, I plotted this using Folium, as I explained earlier. So Folium is kind of like the toolkit in Python that you would use to do this. Zooming out, however, and going to the other part of the world, I have this population filter as well that will let you know how densely populated a country is. So, you know, particularly densely populated countries come up in red, medium population density countries come up in orange, and lightly populated countries come up in green. Can't remember what numbers I used for that. Hold on, let's have a little look. Yeah, I think it was like between 10 million and 20 million was orange, less than 10 million was green, and then anything over 20 million was red. So this is that little bit of code here that does that. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. This was obviously a lot more complicated than the little beginner exercise that I did. This was also more complicated than the English dictionary that I did last week as well. Folium, I don't know, it just took me a little bit longer to get my head around. So, you know, the whole idea of like adding childs and adding feature groups to the map. It was just a bit more challenging than stuff I've done previously, but I think it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool exercise. I'm glad I did it. And that is going to be it for week 3. Shorter than my other videos, but that's because I haven't gone over a lot of the exercises that I've done, I guess. Mainly because I just feel like I would just be rinse and repeating what I've done on week 1 and week 2. But if you are interested in that kind of thing, then do let us know down in the comment section, and I can make more of an effort in future weeks to go over some of those little exercises and those little micro projects that we do. So that'll be that, and I'll catch you next week for week 4. Cheers.